Guys, what's up? It's your boy RJ Gaming News USA here, back today with another video. And today we're going to count down the top 10 best male athletes of all time. This is following the World Cup where Messi and Argentina unfortunately lost. So, without further ado, we're going to get into the list, but first let me explain some of it. So, basically, it's a max of one sport per athlete. Also, this is not best athlete in the sense of the best physical-looking specimen who jumps the highest or whatever. It's more like the most accomplished, best in their craft, best leader, best under pressure, like... It's a very subjective list. There's going to be different criteria for anybody who makes a list like this. It's very much comparing apples to oranges. It's a silly thing that we'll never really have an answer to. It's just a matter of opinion perspective. So it's even more subjective than when you do lists involving your opinion of people in a particular sport. So if you like this kind of content, like, share, and sub. We're going to jump right into it. Number 10... We'll start with the man of the hour, Lionel Messi. Obviously representing soccer. So, this guy has the fullest trophy case of all when it comes to soccer history for both club and country combined. Now, for the longest time, and I believe this was consensus for about 50 years, Pele was the GOAT. I think consensus has shifted to Messi, and I think rightfully so. There are people who will argue for Ronaldo. But Messi winning the World Cup 4 years ago definitely cemented his legacy. He's first all-time in assists at the World Cup. He's second all-time in goals to Mbappe. You can make the case for Mbappe, but it's a little early for that. He's still got a lot of his career to go. And it's not just a country award, it's a club and country. It's full career. What leagues did you play in? What achievements did you accomplish? And I think Messi has the edge. He would have moved up at least maybe 3 spots had he beaten Spain at the World Cup. But that was a very tall ask. I fully anticipate Mbappe being the GOAT in the next 4 to 8 years, legitimately. So I don't believe he's long for this world on the list, but that's just my opinion. Number 9, Lance Armstrong. Now this is going to be the single most controversial choice of the list. I do not recognize what the Tour de France has done to this man. They stripped him of his 7 titles. Obviously, he was doping or used steroids or whatever. I never hold that against the athletes. Like, I still believe Barry Bonds, Roger Clemens should be in the Hall of Fame, right? Stuff like that. I think Lance shouldn't have had his title stripped. There's many, many riders who doped and used steroids and cheated or whatever. Some of this is based off of older, shakier evidence, right? To begin with. I never liked stripping titles away. Was never a fan of that. Always hated the idea, the concept. If you find them in season... they cheated, you can suspend them, ban them, fine. But I never liked the idea of stripping titles away. He won 7 Tour de France's in a row from 1999 to 2005. Now, to be fair, Tadej Pogačar looks like he could be winning his 5th Tour de France in the first 7 years. I fully expect him to become the GOAT of cycling at some point in the near future. I wouldn't be surprised if he won 7 or 8 tours and did it clean. So again, I don't think Lance Armstrong will be on this list any longer than the next 5 to 6 years. But for now, that's where I have him. He was hugely inspirational to me watching cycling to begin with. And that's why I started watching cycling. Number 8, Jack Nicklaus. Some of you may be upset that it's not Tiger Woods. The truth of the matter is Jack Nicklaus won more majors. And really, that's flatly the reason. There's really nothing more to that. Golf's very much a individual sport, and whoever has the most majors is probably the GOAT. Now, why not higher in this list? That's because I do think the people higher on this list are actually more athletic than him, and do actually have somewhat more gaps between themselves and their second place counterpart in their particular sport for a GOAT debate. Number 7, Michael Phelps. I had to include an Olympian here. I had my options. I could have went with Usain Bolt, the fastest man ever, but I decided to go with Michael Phelps. When you're thinking Olympics, gold medals, nobody's done more than Michael Phelps. I don't pretend like I know the inner workings of a swimming game. Most Olympic sports are kind of dumb or one-offs, or you only care about them during the Olympics. And that's definitely true for me in swimming. But he was completely dominant, and dominance should matter in a list like this. Speaking of dominant, number 6, Novak Djokovic. I've always liked Nadal and Federer more, but again, this man has a winning record against Nadal and Federer. He has 24 majors, the most of any male tennis player, and he did win an Olympic gold medal as well. He's won all 4 majors, 3 separate occasions at least or more. The only man to do that. He was the world number 1 more than any other player ever. So hats off, Novak Djokovic. You're to go to tennis, and I have you slotted in the 6th slot. However, this top 5 is very iconic. This top 5 is clearly the top 5 best male athletes of all time, without a doubt. Some people will have it in a different order than I have it, but this is the order that I have it. Number 5, Muhammad Ali. There's a lot of boxers or even MMA guys that I could have put here in the list, but almost everybody wants to emulate Muhammad Ali. He talked a lot of smack and he backed it up. Nobody's ever going to be a more charismatic fighter than him. You look at his actual fight record, there are some guys that actually have a better fight record than him. But the iconic matches he was involved in, Rumble in the Jungle, stuff like that, the Thrill in Manila, he is the archetype of greatness when it comes to boxing. He's a sort of a Mount Rushmore-ish all-time athlete for sure. Number 4, Babe Ruth. Now, I know baseball can be very tricky to name a GOAT. Do you go with a hitter or a pitcher? Or both? We know Ohtani's definitely off to an amazing start to his MLB career. And some people even argue for him to be the GOAT now. There's people that will argue for Hank Aaron. There's people that will argue for Willie Mays because of the fielding, not just the hitting. There's people that will argue for a pitcher like Nolan Ryan or Roger Clemens. I think Babe Ruth, who did some pitching and did some good job pitching, 7 World Series titles, and all the home runs he hit, especially in the era he did, where it was just like he was hitting more than entire teams were by quite a bit. I know some people will poo-poo this because they didn't integrate with blacks yet in baseball, and so some people will discount Babe Ruth altogether. But I think for many decades, before there was more nuanced discussion on that, Babe Ruth was always considered the GOAT of baseball. And to me, he still is. And until maybe Ohtani wins some more World Series, which he's well on his way to doing, I don't know, I got Babe Ruth there. And that's about where I've always had Babe Ruth, around 3-4. Number 3, Wayne Gretzky. I mean, not even close in hockey. I mean, we know he gave up the goals record to Alex Ovechkin recently, but to be clear, if you take away all the goals that Gretzky ever scored, this is a bar question, right? Sports bar question. If you take away all the goals Gretzky ever scored, he would still be the all-time points leader because that's how many assists he did. Such an unselfish player, in addition to also scoring a lot of goals himself. He's the great one for a reason. His jersey's retired around the league for a reason. I believe he's a 5-time NHL champion. He had the dynasty with Edmonton Oilers he led in the 80s, early in his career. Just absolutely dominant. He is by far the most recognizable and accomplished hockey athlete ever. And the gap between him and number 2 is massive. Number 2 on the list, Michael Jordan. I know some LeBron fans won't love that, but it's always been Jordan. 6 finals appearances, 6 titles, 6 finals MVPs, 5 NBA MVPs, 10 scoring titles, Defensive Player of the Year, most points per game of any player all time. I think he's like top 5 in steals. And again, it's like when Jordan ascended to his peak, when he got past the Pistons and the Celtics, when he was at his peak, he just never lost. He just would always get to the finals, always win the finals within 6 games or less. Back 2 3-peats. Insane winning in the modern era. I know Bill Russell won a lot more back in the 60s, 8 teams. Totally different situation. Jordan did it in the modern era. And it's not just that. It's the clutch moments. It's the killer will. It's the game-winning shots, the memorable moments as well. He always stepped up in the big moments. The flu game, the shrug game. Iconic things that have stood the test of time. And that's why I have Michael Jordan at number 2. And that brings me to number 1, which is Tom Brady, who I believe, much like Gretzky, is so far ahead as far as being the greatest quarterback of all time. Like Gretzky is the best hockey player. Now, we'll get into the other NFL players that are non-quarterbacks. But just in terms of quarterback, starting there, he's far and away the best quarterback of all time. It's not even close. He has the most Super Bowls, the most Super Bowl MVPs, the most playoff wins, the most regular season wins, the most total wins, the most total yards, the most pass yards, the most playoff pass yards, regular season pass yards, division titles, conference titles, Pro Bowl selections, division championships. It's a combination of winning and stats, right? So those are like compared to other quarterbacks, he's doubled up on who's number 2 on the list, which is Montana. He's more than doubled them up on almost every statistical category, sometimes almost tripled them up on statistical categories, and at least doubled them up on winning, basically. Now, when it comes to other great NFL players, of course, you got your Jerry Rices out there, which I used to believe was the GOAT before Brady, as far as total NFL players. You got great running backs, like Emmitt Smith. You got Lawrence Taylor on defense. They're on the Mount Rushmore of football. But quarterback, by far, is the most important position. It's the hardest position in all of team sports. It's the most looked upon for leadership in all of team sports. And Brady provided that leadership. He has more Super Bowls than any team has had Super Bowls. Let that sink in. So ultimately, yes, there's some bias here because I am a Brady fan. I'm a Patriots fan. But I do believe that you could definitely argue that Tom Brady is number 1 all time. I think most people could argue for Gretzky, Jordan, or Brady. Depends on your flavor of argument. But I would go with Brady here at number 1. Anyway, what did you guys think of this list? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next video. RJ out. Have a good one.